Ito ang programang In. Ikaw naman. Isko at Iska, ikaw naman ang pakikinggan.
In talaga, dahil dito, ikaw naman ang in.
At ikaw naman ang pakikinggan dito sa
Ikaw Naman.
Ikaw naman. Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ikaw naman.
Ayan, good morning mga classmates. Isang Webos na naman. Kasama na naman ang iyong classmate na si Christine.
At si classmate Kaye.
So, kamusta ka naman classmate, Kaye?
Okay naman ako. Akala ko malalate ako ngayon kasi sobra na naman yung traffic. But,
Totoo.
umabot
Palag na
ako.
lang.
Layo ng bahay ko talaga. Hindi ko kinakaya every day. Anyway, so last week, yung napag-usapan natin ay mga, tungkol sa mga nightmares and temptations.
Oo.
Oo, medyo
Malala.
mysterious-ish yung natin, yung topic natin last week. And, yun nga kung paano siya iniiwasan, ganyan. So, ngayon, ang araw na to ay, isang special day.
Oo.
Wow!
Special talaga. Kasi dati, may guest na tayo dati, si classmate Juan Miguel Severo. Tapos, isa siyang slam poet.
So, last time, wala ako nung last time na nandito siya.
Oo, pero sobrang, ang ganda ng feeling nung episode din. Kasi sobrang, sakto sa damdamin. Grabe.
Talaga, sayang wala ako. Pero, di bale, dahil ngayon naman, ay meron ulit, may slam poet. Kasi, diba, define muna natin. Ang sabi, a slam itself is simply a poetry competition in which poets perform original work alone or in teams before an audience which serves as a judge. So, siya, kumbaga kung may flip top sa rap, parang may slam poetry sa
Poetry.
sa mga tumutula, ganyan. So, yan, syempre, may kasama nga tayong guest for today. So, hello.
Hello.
Ayan, so pakilala ka.
Hi. I'm Jam. I'm Jam Pascual. I'm a spoken word poet. And thanks for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
Sure yon. So, yan, kasama din si classmate Jam. So, saan ka nag-aaral ka pa ba or nag-work? Saan, if ever? Ganun?
I actually graduated. Because you guys went through the academic calendar shift already. We haven't yet. So, I graduated like a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations.
The ceremony is happening like next week. But like otherwise, I'm free. So I'm not studying anymore. I'm not really working either. So no. I'm writing for Philippine Star. So I guess I'm working, but I'm not a student anymore. So yeah.
Ano yung course mo? No?
Oh, I took up creative writing.
Writing talaga. So, ayos. So, kailan ka pa nag-start mag-slam poetry?
I started when I was a freshman. I was 18 years old. I remember because that day was my birthday. It's a major long story. Is that okay?
Okay lang.
It was my birthday, and I was going to the smoking area of Ateneo back when it still existed. And I was going with a few friends, and then I met someone who is still a good friend of mine today. His name's Jake Reza. And we were just making small talk, and I was like, okay, I don't know why I said it, but I said, wait, it's my birthday. And then he was like, okay, happy birthday. May I perform a poem for you as a gift? And then he performed I Do by Andrea Gibson. You guys know Andrea Gibson? She's really good. She's one of my favorite poets. And then after that, like, I felt my life just like shift. And that's when I got into spoken word poetry, and I haven't stopped since.
Nice. Ang ayos pa. Wala lang. Parang, siya, life-turning event na.
Medyo.
So yun, most of the time, ano yung topics ng ayong literary works?
Medyo cliche to say, pero personal experience talaga. Let's see. Personal experience, like relationships and stuff. People coming, people going. I don't know. When I say it, it's weird. It sounds corny kasi medyo coming of age din yung yung mga concerns and stuff. But yeah, that's what I write about.
Oh, may prof ako na writer din. Tapos ang sabi niya, gano'n naman daw talaga kapag writer, parang you have to write something about something you know, about something na naranasan mo. O hindi ka pwede magsulat sa parang hindi mo pa na-experience kasi parang kaya mo siguro magsulat ng ganun pero wala yung parang X factor kumbaga. So, I guess most of the writers talaga ay yun yung sinusulat, yung mga pinagdaanan nila, yung mga bagay na dinanas nila, 'di ba?
So, ano yung masabi mo yung pinaka-inspiration mo sa pagsulat? Or like, what inspired you to start writing?
Aside from my friend Jake, it was just after him kasi I kept looking up spoken word videos on YouTube. And like I think we're pretty lucky that spoken word as a form has become more popular recently, especially like 2012, 2013. Like I don't know, so many people just started getting into it for some reason. Phil Kaye, Sarah Kaye. When the OCD video by Neil Hilborn went viral, a lot of the stuff you see on Upworthy, it's mostly spoken word. And because that was parang that form was in vogue for like years, it was so easy for me to find good stuff. So I would just I would look for videos, and I would go to like slams every now and then. Although slams are a competition, but I don't really participate in the competitive aspect of spoken word. I just like do my set and then I go. Yeah, just going to those scenes, going to open mics at Sev's Cafe, like finding people who are interested in the same thing. I should say that there is a community, like there is a spoken word community. Like the thing about the spoken word community is that we're very scattered. Like people don't know how to gather or where to gather, but it's coming together. I know, si Miguel Severo. I've met him, a really cool guy. We know each other. I believe he's part of Words Anonymous, or he's acquainted with the people from Words Anonymous who are a spoken word group. They're just not based here in the north. But yeah, just looking up stuff and finding people who are into the same thing.
Pero bakit performance poetry or bakit slam poetry? 'Di ba creative writing, you could pwede kang magsulat ng books, novels, ganyan. Pero bakit dito ka nag-lean sa performance poetry?
Oh, that's a good question. Because there's just something about spoken word poetry that for me, like I don't know if the academe will agree, but there's just something about spoken word poetry that's more personal than other forms. Like compared to the written word, for example. When I'm performing spoken word, you see my face, you hear my literal voice, you see my gesticulations, you hear me pause for breath, you get to witness the mannerisms and little nuances of the performer you're watching. And so much of who you are as a person is present in your spoken word performance that would otherwise be invisible on a printed page. Like, that's for me. I guess it's also because it's fun to do. Like I've noticed people who get into spoken word are people who were into rap or hip hop first, and like when you spit like a really fast verse, it's fun to do. So when you're like transferring that sort of passion, that sort of inclination to the discipline of spoken word, it's easy to get into.
So, medyo nice yung sinabi niya ng classmate Christina. Mas personal nga kasi maririnig, parang you hear it in their voice, ganyan. Unlike pag binabasa mo siya, parang sarili mo ng interpretation kasi kung anong on printed paper. Unlike, yun nga, makikita mo mismo yung facial expressions. Kasi, di ba, sabi pag sa communication, hindi, parang yung words ay only half of it, parang the other half ay yung non-verbal
cues.
So, medyo agree ako doon kay classmate Jam on that part.
So, how do you feel when you read what you write in front of an audience?
Oh, I've gotten used to it, I guess. Because the first time I was very nervous about it, of course. The thing is, I don't read in front of an audience, or at least I try not to. I try not to read from a piece of paper because it's different talaga when you've memorized it and you're reciting it. What I feel is, it used to be I would look for reactions in the crowd. One of the cool things about live performances of spoken word is that you get to hear in real time how people react. Like, you know the sound that people make when they apply alcohol to a wound? They're like, and you can hear that, like, just scattered in the space. And I used to look for that. But now I don't anymore. I bring what I have. And if people like it, that's fine. If people don't like it, it's fine. I don't look for reactions anymore. I try not to be nervous. You hear writers especially grapple with the problem of, do I want to write for myself or do I write for other people? Diba? And that's something that I'm still confronting also, and I imagine my graduating batchmates are also confronting. So I still haven't found an answer to that, but I guess the compromise that you make when you're writing for yourself and when you're writing for others is you write for yourself first. Try to make yourself accessible, but don't try to pander to anybody. If you manage to touch or influence one person, then that's okay. That's fine. You don't have to be discontented with that. You know what I mean?
Nice. So based sa experience mo, what does it take for someone to be an effective slam poet?
Effective. Like, what do you mean by effective?
Like getting the audience, parang getting good responses from the audience, ganyan, na magugustuhan ng audience.
Okay.
Performance, ganyan.
I'm actually not sure. Because I know what works for me, but I don't know what works for everybody. I guess if I had to give an answer, you just have to be friendly. Don't expect that people are gonna like your stuff right away or hate your stuff right away. Just be honest and try to be open. Just relax. Stuff you usually hear from someone before you perform anything. No, but I do have a lot of feelings on this though. In order to be effective, in terms of performance, like just relax.
Okay.
Just relax, calm down, try to be friendly with your audience. But in terms of creating mismo,
Yung
like the poem,
yung poem itself.
I don't know. There's no concrete way to do this, but you have to develop in yourself this sort of allergy to cliche, because it's so easy to fall into that trap, especially with spoken word, because the form is so emotional. So of course you're gonna be compelled to like be cathartic and just vomit out your feelings, and that's fine. That's therapeutic, but that should be just a draft and not the final product of what you're writing. Writing is therapeutic, but it's not just therapy. You know what I mean? You have to be mindful of when you're doing something. You have to be mindful of the stuff that everyone else has done, so that you avoid sounding gas. You know.
Yeah, dami kong natututunan this morning. Ikaw ba classmate, Christine?
Parang, well, I think it's really nice to see the difference between, kasi when you're a reader, diba, you look at the parang formalist, like you look at the close reading, you only see what's there. You don't look at the author's intention. So you can see the differences between slam poetry and actually just reading at plain text.
Totoo. So yan, sa ating mga classmates na nakikinig, kung kayo ay tulad ni classmate Jam na may talento sa pagsulat ng mga tula, may ikling kwento, essay, radiodrama, or mga awitin, maaari nyo ito ipadala sa aming Yahoo account. Ikaw naman sa dzup@yahoo.com nang kayo ang bumida sa aming programa sa mga susunod na episodes.
Ang oras ay 10:18 ng umaga. Ang DZUP 1602 ay kasapi ng KBP, kapasanan ng broadcaster ng Pilipinas. DZUP 1602, kasali ka!
Sa aming pagbabalik ay mapapakinggan natin ang isang tula mula kay classmate Jam, kaya tutok lang dito sa Ikaw Naman.
Ito ang programang In. Ikaw naman. Isko at Iska, ikaw naman ang pakikinggan.
At nagbabalik ang Ikaw Naman. Kasama niyo pa rin si classmate Kaye.
At ngayon kasama niya si classmate Dominic. Hello.
Hi, classmate
Good
Dom.
morning, classmates. Ayan. Welcome back again to the second segment.
Ayan, at syempre kasama pa rin natin ang ating guest for today.
Hello.
Yan, si classmate Jam. So, yun nga, kanina pinag-usapan na natin yung slam poetry at yung experiences ni classmate Jam. At ngayon naman, wag na nating patagalin pa. Ito na ang isa sa kanyang isinulat at ito ay perform niya ngayon.
Game. Let's go.
Okay.
So yeah, do I explain? Like, no, never mind. I'll just perform it. So yeah, this poem is called Prayer. Let us take our bodies and offer them up to ourselves. Let us take our hands and unball them from the cages of self-made fists, else they lock themselves into place. Let us take our faces and leave smiles as heirlooms, happiness as inheritance to give what comes naturally as an act of fairness. Let us take our footsteps made from walking through empty streets and save them for when we have no strength for heartbeats. Let us take all our empty bottles and hang them over our gardens like wind chimes. Bring me the strongest wind, and whether or not I am heard, I will make music. Let us take our voices and bless them with amplifiers. And let us take our amplifiers and blast them on platforms. Let us take our pride and the thorns that adorn them and cultivate our crowns into roses. Let us take our weapons, and lay them down, knowing that we have already been fought for. Let us take our hearts and make them as heavy as anchors, and in turn let us love oceans. Let us walk through our museums, watch from the seats of our little colosseums, remember our lions and Jackson Pollocks, and remember that we are fanged messes, sharp and splattered and tattered, and masters of our own chaos. Let us take the torches made from lighting caves with hunters and animals drawn. The light is gone, for I have extinguished the flame, but I have written my name on these walls, so when time causes these homes to crumble, the ones who come after me may roll a labeled stone as I have, endlessly, regretlessly, feeling that weight on their bones, knowing that the rock I was told to roll may or may not be the roll I was meant to rock, feeling these fibers pulled taut and plucked to play the song that sings what I am not, so I may know in the quiet who I am, and in the ring that echoes in the caverns of my ears. Why? Let us take the nails that hold us together. Let us take these wooden planks. Let us take these nails and wooden planks and form crosses and hang our bodies onto them and offer them up to ourselves. I offer myself to me because I deserve what I am, and I am what I deserve. Never mind vengeance. Never mind expectation. Let us cling to hope and kick the door open like each hand was wrapped around the stem of a champagne bottle. And when the city you've called home for so long contorts itself into a labyrinth, know its double joints and jackhammered stones, what homes are praying for people and what rooms are waiting for wrecking balls. And when you are tired, give yourself time until you are no longer tired. And when you are no longer afraid to say that you belong to the world and that the world belongs to you, gently lift the veil from its face, be honest with your promise, and say, I will not be ruled by circumstance. I will not be ruled by circumstance. Thank you.
Yes. Come on. Yun ang prayer ni Classmate Jam. So, anong na-feel mo ng Classmate Kaye? Actually, I've heard of it before because I hosted an event before in cinema, UP Cinema.
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah.
I was
so,
there. That was a fun gig.
Ang daming spoken word din dun, spoken word artist. So, isa dun si Classmate Jam. And I especially like this one kasi, yun nga, meron siyang touch. Yes, meron siyang tago sa puso. Ikaw, Classmate Kaye, anong na-feel mo?
No, walang masabi. Bigla. And,
reaction to the
talaga.
piece. Yun yung nakalagay. Reaction to the piece.
Yun na yung, yun na yun.
Kaya mo yan.
Yun na yung reaction ko no.
So,
pero hindi kasi intense, may part na intense sa dulo na yung gusto kong part, yung yung sinasabi niya na when you're no longer afraid, yung parang say this to yourself. Parang, yun yung favorite part ko siguro nung tula.
Actually,
Ganda.
very self-actualizing yung poem, di ba? So, it tells us to do things for ourselves, sabi nga, di ba? And yun nga, may question dahil doon. So, ano ang pinaka-empowering na line para sa'yo?
Yun nabanggit ko nga kanina. Sige, wait, hanapin natin.
Hanapin.
Ayun, yung sa last part na when you are tired of taking, give yourself time until you are no longer tired. Yun, yung part na yun. And when you are no longer afraid to say you belong to the world and that the world belongs to you, just lift the veil from its face, be honest with your promise, and say, I will not be ruled by circumstance. Parang,
ako rin yun yung striking sa akin, yung last line, I will not be ruled by
diba?
circumstance. Siguro may reason din kung bakit siya inulit another time. Di ba? 2 beses siyang sinabi.
Oo.
So, ikaw, Classmate Jam, sa ginawa mo, ano kaya yung striking doon?
What do you mean? Yung saan?
Sa buong poem mo, ano sa tingin
parang
mo
meron ka pang favorite part.
May favorite part
like
ba?
what's my favorite part about my poem? No, I don't know. No, because it came from a medyo weird place. I wrote the poem kasi like a year ago or a year and a half ago for a friend's exhibit. And the poem wasn't necessarily related to the exhibit, but the question that I was trying to answer for myself was if mankind was, or humankind, sorry, gender neutral. If humankind was its own god, what would it pray to itself? So parang I don't know. I don't know if I was able to answer that question, but I tried. I think that was just that was the point behind it, I guess.
So kaya din siguro siya addressed to everyone.
Everyone, anyone.
Not the usual prayer na you pray to a god or
the
some
supreme being.
Not to a deity. I mean, like if that's your thing, that's okay. You know, but like if you find trouble believing in that, the next best thing, or I would argue the best thing to believe in is, yourself or other people, which is problematic for reasons that I guess, my friends might point out.
So, bakit, ano yung goal mo in writing this piece?
What was my goal? Just, I don't know, it was more for me than for anybody else.
Okay.
I don't know, it was my way of picking myself up. I mean, that's always been a concern for me, the idea of a God, the idea of faith, whether or not you should believe in anything. And I guess between growing up Christian, like super duper devout, and then losing that faith, and then not knowing where I am, that was written in a point of, I don't know where I am, and I am open to admitting that. So, it's just this openness to not knowing, I guess.
And isa sa lines na ang ganda ng message is yung let us take all the bottles we've emptied and hang them over our gardens like wind chimes. Bring me the strongest wind, and whether or not I am heard, I will make music. Diba? Whether or not I'm heard, I will make music. Ang ganda ng message kasi it tells us na kahit anong challenge pa yung dumating, dapat ipagpatuloy pa rin yung laban. Tama ba itong in-interpret ko, classmate?
Sure.
Open to interpretation man ba to?
You take it any way you wanna. It's fine.
Meron akong question. Dun sa line na, let us take our hearts and make them as heavy as anchors, and in turn, let us love oceans. Ano yung parang sinisimbolize nung anchors?
Oh, I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I guess it just feels so weird analyzing my own work.
Yeah.
I do this for other works. Yung line na yan, yung hearts as heavy as anchors. Parang it's such a, I think what I was trying to do there was, it's such a horrible feeling to have a heavy heart. Whether that heart is heavy with guilt or with shame or with a desire that you don't know how to navigate. But I guess what I was trying to prove was heavy hearts don't always have to be a bad thing. Na they keep you rooted.
Like, yun nga, lahat tayo yung sinasabi niya na heavy anchors, di ba? Parang lahat tayo may ganun from our past, regrets, ganyan. For example, na ito yung mga siguro, I guess, mag-remind sa atin how to live with the present because of ayun, at katulad naman na sinabi ni classmate Jam, hindi naman siya necessarily always a bad thing. Sometimes, it would help you parang how to face the future. It would teach you something, di ba? Kung paano natin haharapin yung kinabukasan, ganyan. Diba?
Tama. And then, kung naalala mo yung sa isang movie, I'm not tell it, yung yung heart pierced through an arrow.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Heart pierced.
That's such a good movie.
Heart pierced through an arrow, di ba?
Did you like it? Did you like the movie?
Yeah, I liked it. Kahit puro siya dialogue, di ba? It was good. Yeah. Ang nangyari is parang yung what do you call this? The arrow. Nasanay siyang yung heart, di ba? Nasanay siyang at first nabigatan siya, then eventually okay siya. Bumabalik siya sa kanyang what do you call this?
Pointy life.
Yeah, pointy life. And then when it happened na umalis na yung arrow, yung heart, ibang story naman yun. Love naman kasi yun. Pero it's the same thing na masasanay ka rin eventually. Ewan ko, gano'n na. And it will teach you a lesson talaga. Yun.
So, meron akong question para sa ating lahat. Wow.
Ang dami mong question.
What are you anchored on?
What are you anchored on?
Parang aning...
Wow. Very open to interpretation din.
Yun. Sige, kung anong interpretation mo dun sa question.
Sige, si classmate, jam muna.
Like me? What am I anchored on?
Yes.
Hindi ko alam. I don't know. My friends, I guess. Like, just people who mean a lot to me. Not the money or ego, which were things I used to be anchored on. Just friends. Friendship.
Ikaw classmate, no?
Anong anchored sa akin? Siguro yung drive to reach for my hopes and dreams. No?
Yes.
Sobrang nagpapaka-poetic.
You tried, joke lang.
Ikaw, classmate Kaye.
Ako, same din, yung mga tao sa paligid ko.
Those who mean a lot to you, di ba?
Parang kapag lahat ng bagay sa paligid mo ay hindi na maganda yung nangyari, parang you always go back to these people, di ba? So, yun.
And yung isang line na, let us walk through our museums and watch from the seals of our little coliseums, remember our lions and Jackson Pollocks, and know we are fanged messes, sharp and splattered and tattered, and masters of our own chaos. What made you say that we are masters of our own chaos?
I don't know if it's true, but to say it means that you want to believe it. Does that make any sense? Na ano, if you know how you tell yourself something like repeatedly just to convince yourself that it's true. Parang ganun.
At some point parang maniniwala. Yung dun sa literary piece, parang pagdating dun sa middle part, meron na siyang biblical allusions. Na ginamit like yung cross and yung wood, thorns, ganyan. So, parang, pero nabanggit mo kasi kanina na yung prayer na to ay for humankind, di ba? Parang,
yung ano, the, like, why are there these allusions? Ganun. I suppose, yung this idea that to put humankind at the center means to deify it, I guess. To make it a god instead of God mismo. I don't know if like people are gonna get mad at me for that. Yung mga like, I don't know if the church is gonna come after me or whatever. But like, I'm not even sure if that's still what I believe 100%. But it's a point of view, diba? And it's at least one point of view I try to entertain.
Yeah.
In prayer.
We're open naman here to different kinds of points of views, di ba? And natatakal natin halos iba't iba, di ba? From gender to religion and marami pa iba. So, yun nga. What do you think is the role of faith in self-actualization? So, yun nga. Medyo nasabi na niya yung point of view na ikaw, classmate Kaye.
Ako, parang yung faith, hindi naman necessarily to supreme being. Parang faith in humanity, faith in yourself, faith in the people around you. Mahalaga siyang bagay kasi pag wala kang pinaniwalaan, ewan ko, para sa akin, what's the point of parang existing kung wala kang pinaniniwalaan kahit man lang yung sarili mo, I guess.
Correct.
Yun.
Actually, it's kind of the same thing. Faith in humanity or siguro sa iba, faith in the supreme being, in a deity, deities. Faith in, yun nga, your colleagues or what. Pero, yun nga, it would contribute a little to, or for some much sa self-actualization. So, what is self-actualization nga naman? So, since open to interpretation mo rin
big
yan.
word.
Big word. Nirvana, mga ganon.
Ayun, so may isang line pa dun sa piece. I offer myself to me because I deserve what I am and I am what I deserve.
Sige, isa yun sa favorite lines ko.
Bakit?
Bukod dun sa I am ruled by circumstance.
Sige,
I
bakit?
will be ruled by circumstance.
Bakit
Kasi,
siya naging favorite?
wala lang. Gusto ko yung mga binabaliktad yun. Sobrang babaw. Pero, yun nga, I deserve what I am and I am what I deserve. So, siguro naman, medyo self-explanatory siya. Pero, yun nga, minsan kasi hindi mo siya ma-realize at some point. Di ba parang, okay, lagi na lang full of trials and everything. Tapos sabi mo parang, bakit nasa point ako na ganito in my life? Di ba parang, hindi mo siya ma-realize until somebody else tells you. Di ba? Parang ganun. Ikaw, classmate Kaye.
Wala, hindi ko naman siya. Joke lang. Hindi, parang agree naman ako dun sa point na parang lahat naman tayo. Parang isang nga ding line sa, di ba, dun sa Perks of Being a Wallflower, parang we accept the love we think we deserve. Parang ganun din yun Parang actually, kung ano mang dinadanas natin, we all parang deserve this. Kung ano man yung, whether it be love or anything, happiness, sadness, parang we made things to come to a point at ginawa natin siya at I guess at some point deserve natin siya. Yun.
So dahil mahugot tayo dito sa ikaw naman, meron tayong question kay Classmate Jam. So anong message mo para sa mga taong nagpapakamartir o kulang sa tapang na lumaban para sa sarili nila? Ayan.
Ooh, that's a good question. Yung tipong, do I... so hard because I've been there. I've like have you ever found yourself in a place na parang yung ginagawa mo inconsistent sa ideologies mo or whatever. And like, wow, what do I do? You how do you root yourself? How do you anchor yourself? Yung kulang sa tapang, that sort of stuff. Wait, can you read the question again?
Yung-
Ano yung message mo para sa mga taong nagpapakamartir o kulang sa tapang na lumaban para sa
Okay.
sarili nila?
Don't blame yourself.
Mm-mm.
Don't be so hard on yourself, because fighting for something is always hard.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Because if it wasn't hard, it wouldn't be fighting, diba?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is you're fighting for. I've had the privilege kasi of like being surrounded by friends who like dedicate themselves to really whack causes,
Mm-mm.
to agricultural reform,
Mm-mm.
stuff like that. And it's difficult, especially when the state is against you,
Mm-mm.
when one obstacle you face is a lack of money.
Mm-mm.
And when these things get in the way, kasi the first thing you do is you blame yourself.
Mm-mm.
Kasi yung iniisip mo is, oh, if my spirit was more noble or something, like I wouldn't be feeling this way. This wouldn't be happening. Pero when that happens kasi, and I guess I'm addressing what that question wants me to address, but I'm thinking of specific people then.
Mm-mm.
Maybe just take a step back, I guess.
Okay.
Take a step back. Don't be afraid. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't blame yourself, because it's normal to feel these things. And, give yourself time until you can get back on your feet again.
Mm-mm.
And take that time to like reevaluate why you fight, what you fight
Mm-mm.
for, why you put so much effort into what you fight for. I was having this conversation with a friend because like months ago about how if you really love something,
Mm-mm.
you won't get tired of it.
Mm-mm.
But that's not true,
Uh-oh.
because you are going to get tired of it.
Yes.
Exhaustion is, I mean, you know how they say, what was it? The mind is willing, but the body is weak. The body is weak talaga. So like, of course you're gonna get tired. So,
Yeah.
like,
Pahinga lang.
rest. Yeah,
Oo.
exactly. Like, don't blame yourself for not being able to do everything.
Mm-mm. Ayun, at siguro yung sinasabi niya lang, yung strength, minsan kasi yung certain person, nawawalan talaga siya ng strength. So parang maganda na humanap ka din ng strength from the people surrounding you, na pag yung time na parang sobrang pagod ka na, parang okay lang naman magpahinga, okay lang at some point na tumigil.
Mm-mm.
Pero yun na nga, yung madami naman tao sa paligid mo at one point, 'di ba? Ayun. So yan, dami nating napag-usapan ngayon. So mamaya ay isa pang sa pagbabalik natin na isa pa uling likha ang mapapakinggan natin.
Mm-mm.
Na syempre isinulat pa rin ni classmate.
DZUP 1602 ay kasapi ng KBP, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng Pilipinas. DZUP 1602, kasali ka!
Ito ang programang In. Ikaw naman. Isko at Iska, ikaw naman ang pakikinggan.
At nagbabalik ang
Ikaw
Ikaw naman.
Naman.
Kasama niyo pa rin si classmate Kaye.
At si classmate Dominic. And syempre si classmate Jam.
Hello.
Ayan, so kanina napakinggan natin yung prayer na syempre likha ni classmate Jam. At ngayon naman, isa uling likha ang mapapakinggan. Ito ay give form. Ayan. So ito na.
Sige. I know you won't believe me when I tell you don't be afraid, so instead I'll say everything is temporary. I know it's difficult. You've become persuaded by the day by day, and you take it on your back, flay by flay, whenever you bend down to pick up your crucifix. See, far be it from me to accuse anyone of small crosses, because I can't count how many times I've said to myself, this is the worst day of my life. But that's all it is. A labeled speck in a collection of dust motes, so why do you insist on keeping them in glass cases? You store mispronounced names in the gazes of past faces like butterflies with the wings thumbtacked to the wall, hoping someday you could trade these trinkets for truths or truces. And the world, don't get me started on the world. Much has been said about the rigidity of the city, but little about its malleability, about its softness, about how it never holds up and takes form long enough to make a monument of itself, how it is proof that if walls could talk, half their stories would be about getting pissed on, its windows like the stare of steel barrels, its roads, its institutions about as welcoming as in-laws, its roads about as readable as holy text. And we lift this all up to make them lofty. See, no one can blame anyone for trying to soften the concrete with the conceptual, because that's what fluff is for, right? We are superfluously soft, and we shut the door tight. And we walk into all these upper-class boutiques looking for the best hats to wear, and we keep a spare face in the trunk for when the road gets too rutted, and we keep a tall glass if it won't be long on the bedside table so we have something to slake ourselves whenever we stir to self-set sirens. I'm sorry for all these emperors strutting naked except for their weapons. I'm sorry for the generations before us, silver-haired and frost-talking, looking at you like they were looking at a graph of stocks crashing. I'm sorry that the shadow of money hangs over us like thunderclouds, how you stick out your tongue hoping you are not left unquenched, how you put on your best front to be among 100 anxious clothes racks, fed on a steady diet of orange juice and Prozac, pancakes laid out on the table by someone doting and devoted, but you sleep until noon so you wake up to cold stacks, but it's not like you chose that. Recall a time when you were speaking in the language of middle-class cable cartoons. Why was I even born anyway? At the time, there was no other available point of reference. Now, you're looking down the bottom of bottles like you were constantly searching for land, looking for land, coughing up sea salt while searching for sand, going, we just passed this rolling wave, how could we be here again? We are pattern-seeking creatures, feasting on perceived consistencies who get visibly pissed when living does not conform to our formulas. And our friends travel down the railroad tracks of our wrists, headed elsewhere. But for you to go on like this, makes just about as much sense as pulling out your teeth and sticking it under your pillow, hoping it grows into a more eloquent mouth. How much farther back inside yourself can you withdraw until you run out of space, or until you find light? So much light it could power a city. You, with your high-tail hope and your getaway gall, please don't go. You, with your cathedral heart, and with your cathedral hands and your prism heart, the one that shines bright in all my dark corners, won't you let me count on you the way I count beads between my fingers? You, with your eloquence, give form to my shadows to make them breakable. And I love your bright colors. I love your mustard yellow sweater and your pastel pink shirt, dressed for war against despair. Won't you lie in the trenches with me? Won't you disarm me? I will do the same for you. We both know better than to leave sharp, explosive things in our hands, and we are so tired of fighting, of fortune cookies, of astrology, of robes and scrolls, and the speeches of so many valedictorians before us. I know you won't believe me when I tell you, don't be afraid, so instead I'll say, everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. But we go into the world, sweet child, we go into the world with gold light and hope and fear and all our little debts and whatever else is left inside of us. Thank you.
Yes.
So that was Give Form.
So, it showed the beauty of poetry, and the more beauty of poetry when it's said, di ba? Parang mas feel mo.
So, yung main, kung tama yung yung main idea nung literary piece ay choosing and continuing to live despite all the circumstances, parang kahit na problematic yung world and society.
I guess. I'm sorry, I made a few mistakes kanina. The thing about the poem was I didn't write it with a specific message in mind. I wrote it for a friend. I wrote it specifically for a friend who was going through a lot of hard stuff. Who doesn't have the best relationship with one of her parents, who like finds herself feeling very confused and distressed about life. It was written for her. And whenever I bring that poem to a performance, I don't know if anybody else is going to get it. Or if anybody else is going to misconstrue it as a love poem or not. I don't know. Yeah, just going on, I guess. Going on and, like, you're special. You know what I mean? Like, I guess that was the main idea.
So yun nabanggit mo na you've written it for a friend na on undergoing circumstances again. So parang diba, feeling ko lahat naman tayo may mga friends na dumadaan sa circumstances, sa mga problema. Tapos medyo parang ang hirap, diba, ang hirap nila comfort at some point. Parang minsan hindi mo alam kung ano yung sasabihin mo sa kanila para maging okay sila. Kasi syempre gusto mo silang tulungan. Pero parang
it's okay won't help it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it never
parang
helps.
kasi wala rin tayong assurance na magiging okay yung lahat in the end, 'di ba? So, kaya nga yung line doon, gusto ko yung line na don't be afraid. So,
I know
I'll
you won't
say,
listen if I tell you.
So, instead I'll say everything is temporary. So, maganda nga
So, it
siyang...
will pass. Diba? Parang ganon. So, ano yung mga instances na gusto mo na lang mag-give up sa buhay? Ba't ganito yung question na to? Okay. Yes, ako lang. Okay. Ano yung instances na gusto mo na mag-give up sa buhay? Ikaw, classmate Kaye.
Ako, madami.
So, open talaga tayo sa DZUP. Ang ano natin.
Sobrang daming instances na akads, family,
Yes.
friends, love life, ganyan. Parang at some point, parang pag hindi nag-work yung mga bagay, parang, ay, gusto ko na lang matulog at hindi...
Oo. Gusto mo na i-stop. Kung pwede mo i-stop yung time, di ba? Parang ganon.
Dami. Ikaw ba classmate doon?
Ako? Marami din na tayong problema. Siguro the same lang. Siguro we share the same sentiments kasi we have our own lives. Siguro nga, ACADS, kasi sobrang stressful ng ACADS given the calendar shift and all. Nagsabi ng mga reasons. Tapos, yun din, some family problems, etc. problems, yan. So, ayan, classmate. Ikaw naman classmate Jam.
Oh my God. Medyo heavy ng question though. When did you feel? No, okay.
Yes.
No, kasi, let's see. When I was 19 or 20, I was severely depressed. And I went through maybe half a year, like a whole year of like episodes of self-harm. That was so weird. It was so strange. I didn't know where it came from or where it was going to go. And I didn't know when it would go away. But like during that period, I thought of just like ending it. Like regularly. I thought of it regularly. And I don't know how I got out. I'm not saying this for you to be like, oh, wow. But like, I'm just saying like, that was when it really felt like if it ended, it's okay. I wouldn't care. But like, what you were mentioning kanina was like how it never helps to just say it's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
It never does help. It rarely ever does. Even though you are aware of the intention behind it, words like those rarely ever help because like you don't know that now because you're going through crap right now. Pero it's really hard kasi navigating that a problem like that when you have a friend who is like severely down and you don't know what to do. At that point kasi you don't have to rely on words anymore. Words can only do so much.
Yes.
Words can only do so much. And I don't know if you believe in love languages, but I think giving time. Giving time to someone. That's sometimes what's necessary.
Totoo. Minsan parang kahit basta may at yung kunwari friend or someone kasama mo lang siya kahit hindi kayo mag-uusap, parang sobrang mas nakakagaan siya instead of magsasabi siya ng maraming pep talk, ganyan. Parang,
basta nandyan ka.
Basta
That's
nandyan
what
ka,
matters.
makinig ka lang at parang yun, di ba? Parang it would help. So, yun. So, ano na nga, pinag-usapan natin yung mga tula. Ganyan.
We're gonna ask things about yourself naman, classmate Jam. So, so tips on being a slam poet pala muna. Yan.
Oh, okay. Practice in your room a lot. Watch a lot of videos. It helps to think about who your favorite spoken word poets are. I think I find that memorizing the poems of other poets helps also because you're getting into the groove of other people doing what they do, and then from there you can like springboard into writing your own work. That way you know like who to emulate. You know, ganun. Just practice in your room a lot.
Okay.
So, sino naman yung mo?
Sinasabi mong favorite writers mo?
Writers, slam poets.
Oh, okay. Well, slam poets, that would have to be my two favorites who I wish I could be are Andrea Gibson and Anis Mojgani. Spoken word poems tend to be very indignant and angry. But Andrea Gibson has this way with similes, and Anis Mojgani is usually very happy and optimistic. In terms of writers, let's start locally. Let's see, si Joel Toledo.
Okay.
Sino pa? Mikael Delaraco. I've read. Sino pa? Si Gian Lao, Petra Magno. Gosh, I can't remember them right now. I wish I could. Pero ang dami. I'd like Louise Glick. what's his name? Jeffrey McDaniel. There we go. So yeah, it's those people.
Paano ka
And Richard Saiken.
So, yun naman. Paano ka nagpe-prepare pag meron kang performance? Ganyan. Kinakabahan ka pa ba? Ganyan.
Oh, just go over the piece in your head again and again from start to finish. Which is something that I wish I did for this. But yeah, typically just go over your set from start to finish. Like, don't just be content to read it lang. And just relax, you know. I prefer to perform sober. Like, some people like to have like 1 beer or 2 beers before.
Okay.
But I sober, like, just to be safe.
Okay. So, any memorable experiences or performances?
Or like best or worst? Good memory, bad memory.
Ikaw bahala sa memorable.
Or both. Pwede naman.
Okay.
How was your first? Ganon. How was your first performance, diba?
Oh, okay. My first performance was as a freshman, and it was at like a lit event in Ateneo. And that was during a time when people didn't know what spoken word was. So I felt very special. To be honest, I felt very special that I was like the only one doing it at the time. Aside from my friend Jake, of course. And after that performance, after that one poem I did, which I hate now, but I liked it at the time, people stood up, they were applauding, they were like, oh my god, galing. And I was like, yay, I'll just keep doing this na lang. Then I look back at that gig very fondly. I haven't had another gig since that has matched up in terms of feels. You know what I mean? So, yun.
So, paano mo in-express yung sarili mo? Hindi. How else do you express yourself aside from
Slam poetry.
Slam poetry?
Oh,
ganyan?
I sing for a band called
Okay.
Imelda. We actually have a gig this Friday. If I may plug real
Okay,
quick.
go.
Yes, we can.
We have a gig at Route 196, entrance fee
Okay.
200. Tabula Rasa is the name of the gig. Anyway, yeah. I sing for a band. I do like write like for paper talaga. Poetry essays. My thesis was poetry. I don't know if I'm any good at it, but like that. Those are ways. I guess.
Ayan, so yun nga sinabi mo, siguro yung who inspires you is yung mga writers, slam poets, or meron ka ba bang ibang inspiration for slam? Kung ginagawa mo yung mga poetry mo.
Oh, actually, like, I keep saying I like a lot of rappers. Sino pa?
Okay.
Si Kendrick Lamar.
Yes,
is
Kendrick
one.
Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar, dude. Kendrick Lamar, Childish Gambino. Who's that really good rapper? I like Death Grips also.
Okay.
Death Grips is really good. Chance the Rapper. Those people. Drake. Like, I am not ashamed to say. I love Drake. I love Drake.
So, yun. Bukod dun sa upcoming gig mo nga this Friday sa Route 196, meron ka pa bang ibang gustong i-plug? Like,
Where to watch you perform or anything?
slam poetry or tugtog nyo pa?
Don't have any spoken word gigs upcoming,
Okay.
but there will be, I'm sure. I've been speaking with a few other spoken word friends. A few other friends who practice spoken word poetry, and we want to arrange events, you know, like here in the north, because you rarely ever see spoken word events happening in the north. So, like, just wait for it, I guess. We'll be planning that, like, over the summer. I have the summer, at least me. And we'll be planning that stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So, sana maimbitahan kami.
Game.
Because, wala lang, sorry,
Maganda
sobrang
ang feels
favorite
ng-
ko yung mga gantong bagay. Poetry night and things.
Music and poetry night and all. So, anyone you'd like to greet?
Oh, who would I like to greet?
Your spoken word friends?
Yeah, sure. Why not? Sina Chad and Trisha. Hello, if you're listening.
Okay, I've seen them too.
UP friends. Sina Mishka, who I will meet later to return his books. Si Mariah. Hi, Mariah. Si Vinci. Sina pa? Ayana. I don't know if she's listening. And Ariel. Hello. I will see you on Sunday. Sino pa? Yeah, I guess. Si Sir Martin, who was my prof for a big bulk of my college life who I will be drinking with later. Thank you for my writing education, for instilling that in me, for the academic training. Ayun.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
So again, thank you,
Thank you
classmate
so much.
Jam.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it.
Sobrang ganda nung
Usapan,
nangyari
discussion.
ngayon. Oo,
Sobrang
totoo.
full of heart, full of
Hugot.
Hugot,
Yeah.
oo.
So, syempre, sa mga nakikinig, bukas, 10 to 11 a.m. ay ang Student YO Universe hatid pa rin ng DZP Radio Circle, the only org that goes on air. At yan mga classmate, isang episode na naman ng Ikaw Naman ang inyong napakinggan. Samahan nyo kami muli sa susunod na linggo kung saan bibida ang isang panibagong classmate. Muli ako si classmate Kaye.
Ako si classmate Dominic. At syempre kasama natin si classmate Jam. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo dito lang sa programa kung saan kayo ang N at kayo ang pakikinggan.
Ikaw naman!
Ito ang programang In. Ikaw naman. Isko at Iska, ikaw naman ang pakikinggan.